Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly update. This is going to be kind of a short one, because as you might know if you follow the Twitter account, packaging the game, the first bullet point here, gave me a little bit of trouble for most of the week. Now, packaging the game is the process of taking the game from being editor only and then piecing it into a standalone project. So, going into a folder, clicking an exe, and it runs, basically making the game normal as far as most people are concerned. The problem I was running into was whenever I would try to package the game, it would open up a second version of Unreal and the process would pause. And no matter how long I would just let it sit for, it would just not continue. So, and if I exited out of the second version of Unreal that it opened, suddenly it would automatically complete. Now, the problem is I would go to check the folder and it would only be 200 megabytes. Now, as much as I would love for the release to be 200 megabytes, I know that's not the case. So it would essentially just end early and leave me with an unusable build of the game. Problem with packaging issues is that there's about a million things that could be wrong with it. It usually just works, but it also seems like no one has ever had the same problem with packaging twice. So troubleshooting for it is a real pain. I tried to mess around with it for a couple of days and then finally just had to go the nuclear option of buying another solid state drive and installing only Windows and Unreal on it. Once I had that, it worked and I was able to package the game finally. So that's good. Unfortunately, that means that something's messed up with my copy of Windows, and I've got to open up another version of Windows just to build the game. But it beats having to do a reformat, I guess. And I'm able to package the game, so technically a success. The main reason I want to package the game right now is because I want to start trying to send it around to people to test for things like performance and gameplay balance. Just important things you need to kind of always keep in mind while developing. And it's better to tackle this stuff early on when you don't have to change a whole lot rather than wait later on when you have two episodes done and then all of a sudden you realize that you've done something fundamentally wrong in every level and you have to go through and fix every single level. So good to get that done now, but also it is related to the second bullet point here, the Steam page. So there's two processes for getting your game onto the Steam store. The first is that you just have to give them a whole bunch of information about the game, and then they do a review of it, and then they will put your game onto the Steam store. And as far as I know, it is hidden to everybody except for you at that point. What you then have to do later is send in a playable build of your game, and as far as I understand, it doesn't have to be beatable, just essentially making sure that you're not miscategorizing the game and from a security standpoint, making sure that you're not trying to install a virus or a Bitcoin miner onto people's computers. So working towards that, I want to have the main menu and options menu done at the very least before I start sending it around to people. So that's currently what I'm working on. We'll get there soon. Next, fixed a level transition. So there's two layers of inputs in Unreal. There's the game input, things like you left click to shoot your gun, and then there's menu inputs. Left click and you click a button. So when you pause the game, you're pausing the game inputs, and that is only that's a problem when you have to click the screen in order to continue to the next level. So when you get to the end of the level, I do what Doom, Duke Nukem, Blood all did. You have an end level stats page. And that just gets plastered up on your screen, but you still have the game going on around you. You have to pause it so you're not getting shot while you're stuck in the stats page. And the issue I was running into was it would pause it, but I would have to click the menu or click the page in order to move to the next level. But my input was frozen, so I had to add in that second layer. I had to enable clicking through the menu. So got that in. So now level transitions work. Fixed a sprite rendering issue. When you import a sprite or a texture or anything, a picture into Unreal, and it has transparency, it will add a white fill into those transparent areas. You have to specifically go in and tell Unreal to take that fill out. Now, the problem is that it technically is leaving a bit of that border in depending on your LOD. So you fix that by setting it to always show the nearest LOD. So that way it doesn't simplify it at all, and it keeps it really nice and sharp. So it's an issue that Unreal introduces itself, and then have to go in and tell it to fix that. The weird thing about that is that it was not happening in any testing with the editor, and it's a problem that only showed up when I packaged the game. So, yet another reason why you want to try to package early on so that you can find issues like that. And, I still had to fix every single texture that I had in the game at this point, which is, probably about 200 textures. Go in every individual one and tell them to use the nearest LOD. So that's annoying, but not as annoying as it could have been. Hooray for early packaging. Next, adjustments for aspect ratios. This is not quite as major as it sounds, but it's still important. So if you think about the character holding his gun, it's essentially just a picture that's stuck in front of the camera lens. And what happens, you've got the picture in front of the camera lens, and then you've got, like, say it's mounted right here. This is what it's designed for. Then you start changing the aspect ratio, and then you are changing where the picture of your dude holding the gun is. It's not an issue too much for a little bit, up until you start getting it changed just enough where you're able to see the bottom of the sprite where it cuts off. So I had to go in and try to take the current aspect ratio, compare it to the aspect ratio it's designed for, and then create an offset based on that. So really, there's only going to be, realistically speaking, there's only two aspect ratios I'd really need to worry about: 16:9, which is what it's designed for, and 16:10. But what about ultra wide? What about what about the 5% of people who use something other than 1920 by 1080? It's trying to account for as many people as I can. Realistically, it's probably fine, but practically, I just want to make sure that it affects as few people as possible. Now, I believe I got the issue fixed. As far as my testing shows, I did, but like with the sprite rendering, who knows what happens when you package the game? It could be completely different, and maybe I broke it just for normal. Oh, okay, I set it up to where I can't break it for what it's designed for, but you never know with package games. Anyway, that'll be something else to include with testing. So next up, started the main menu. Yep, man, that's it. it's starting the main menu. I'm hoping, as I said before, to have the main menu and the options menu done before I start sending it around to people. There's other menus, the load game menu, obviously new game and quitting and things like that. But I'm also gonna have to go in and make a pause menu, because right now the main menu, obviously, you shouldn't be able to save the game on the main menu. So, just trying to design it for the main menu right now, but later I'm gonna have to add in the pause menu so that you can save the game to slots and everything. I have slot saving. Really, the functionality for that is all set. I just have to start making the menus for that, and making menus in Unreal is not fun. Really, I really wish that they had a better system, but they don't. So, we'll just deal with that. But yeah, you'll know how progress is going on that over on the Twitter account. Little plug there. But hopefully we'll have that done, and ideally have it on the Steam store maybe next week, the next update video, but we'll see. Obviously, you'll find out next week, or Twitter account, you can find out earlier. But anyway, that'll be it for this week. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one, everyone.